Right, what's going on, everyone? We've got the second podcast. We done one earlier on with that blasted salami, and we done one with Rufamonga. Now we've got the fighting game pros. We have Justin Wong, we have Kizzie K, we have Lord Knight. But you lot introduce yourselves to the people.
Okay, so what's up, everyone? This is Justin Wong. I don't know why King J invited me because I am not a pro. I'm a casual content creator. You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess I was a pro at one point in my life. I don't think I'm a pro anymore. I just kind of just play and enter tournaments here and there. I mean, I feel like we're in the same boat.
No, we're
Um,
not. No,
yeah,
we're
you
not.
know, I just that's what how I feel. I'm not sweaty like these other two down here. You know what I mean? Like Kizzie and Lord Knight, they are sweat monster when it comes to the world of tournaments, offline and online. But for me, I'm just kind of,
Whoa,
yeah, I
whoa,
mean,
whoa. So you already told yourself. You said online and my name?
online. Yeah, I seen you enter online tournaments. I mean, look, you have a King of Fighters 15 trophy right behind you that you won at East Coast Throwdown. Like you see me, I just have anime figures like a weeb. Like that's just me right
Bro,
there. You
what
know
you
what I'm
mean?
saying?
Bro, what you mean? This was given to me by Oda-san, bro. This is what I'm about, bro. You see this? See this fit right here, bro? This is what I'm about, man. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyways, what's good, guys? I am Kizzie K, man, and I hope you guys are looking forward to see what we have to say. I play online, offline, professionally, and I also create amazing content for a lot of people who are trying to get into fighting games alone, and it's just see how the vibe is all about. So I hope you guys are looking forward to what we have in store for you. And now we're gonna shoot it to Lord Knight.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Lord Knight. Forma did no camera because my camera got jacked for a little while, but I am a pro player as well. I played anime fighting games for a long time now. I make some YouTube, and thanks for having me on.
Nice, man. Thank you lot for coming on. I really appreciate it, man. There's a lot of people I reached out to, but you guys, appreciate you lot for taking your time out. A reason why I got you lot on is because I wanted to talk about like the fighting game ecosystem. I made a video talking about like I feel like there isn't really much of a connection between the fighting game players, content creators, you know, TOs, commentators, and then the fighting game developers. Obviously, we saw something similar with Street Fighter 6 and the content creators recently. I wanted to know from you lot being pro players, like what are your honest thoughts about the fighting game community at the moment and like in terms of tournaments?
Hmm. You know, obviously, we came like through this pandemic for like the last 2.5 years, right? And offline tournaments were just pretty much gone. There
Yeah.
was no offline tournaments at all. Everything had to been online, and there was online tournaments before the pandemic, but now it's just like every day is an online tournament. So I would say from that regards, it's great because it really pushed the developers to kind of like step their shit up by actually having good online. Because before the pandemic, we just had trash online. Like obviously they had games before that was really good online, like Skullgirls and Killer Instinct. But when it comes down to like I guess what everybody else wants to play, like let's say majority of people like play Street Fighter or they play Tekken, like that was non-existent. Like even where games didn't have rollback capabilities, they played on Parsec, right? Like Marvel 3, which had this new like a boom of like people playing again and more people participating in tournaments. It kind of like brought the game back to life. So I think in terms of just like tournaments, we have a lot of tournaments, but I think my issue is everyone it's like if you win this tournament, you're the best. If you lose the next tournament, maybe you get top 8, you're washed up. So I think that's kind of the problem where it's like which not many tournaments hold that much weight anymore in terms of like you win this tournament, but yeah, you could just win the next one or you lose the next one. The next person can win and they're the best now. And I think in terms of like that, the prestige of winning a tournament doesn't seem as great compared to before the pandemic.
Yeah, and just to kind of capitalize on what he was saying, like yeah, like I think for one thing, or I wouldn't even say just cherry pick what he's saying. Uh, I honestly truly believe that like yes, the pandemic for fighting games is actually a pretty good thing overall. I'm really happy that now that it sucks that before the pandemic, for you to play a great online game, you couldn't play your favorite game, which is really really doesn't feel good, right? So you have to really like lower whatever thing and give something a try because of the online right now that has been standardized and like now everybody can just kind of play what they want to play. It's such a great feeling. And I always think this is such a great thing just for everybody, just for new players and players that just want to grind out and things like that. Like it's really good. Like let's say for example somebody couldn't go to an offline tournament. Well, we got online tournaments for you here. Here you go, right? Now, to add on, I do think that tournaments as lost value as like what tournaments are all about because like everybody was excited for like that tournament of power arc for Goku, right? And like the whole Dragon Ball, but like now every day it's a tournament of power, and like everybody is going Ultra Instinct, and like now Ultra Instinct kind of lost its value. It's not cool anymore. Like imagine hearing that theme every single time versus somebody just out of the blue, right? And we just like, oh, he went Ultra Instinct mode, and we just like, dang, how did he get it? You know what I mean? So it kind of lost its value to a huge extent, and I always value trophies. I think trophies are like a big like you earn this like type of validation, right? So that's why I feel that like because now we have multiple tournaments, there's nothing on the line outside of just money and I guess pride. But I always feel like we should hold something more value bigger, and I think online should be like a nice build up to something really huge, rather than just like everybody is like the best player. It's like student of the month or student of the week. Like oh that person was straight A's. That's the best player, right? Or right off the bat on that day, and the next day it's like, oh, you got a A minus. Well, you're not the best player anymore. So I will hope that will change as we develop. Right now, I know we're kind of like in a honeymoon phase of like everybody being like pros and things like that and whatnot. But I will hope for that to be restructured so things could be a little bit more healthy and have long lifespan.
No, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Can you clarify your question again? I actually felt like they kind of Kizzie and Justin went like took a hard right on like the original question. I should have wrote down exactly what you said. 'Cause
No.
I didn't think you were talking about just tournaments.
No, so I'm
Right?
saying,
Yeah.
what are your honest thoughts about the Tekken, the fighting game? No, I said Tekken community. Sorry, I'm playing too much Tekken. What are your honest thoughts about the fighting game community at the moment in terms of tournaments?
Oh, in terms of tournaments.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, I answered that shit correctly. What do you mean?
Okay, yeah,
How you gonna just throw that out?
talking
Yeah.
about?
Nah,
No,
you
no,
went
I just-
right. You went
No,
right.
I wanted to make sure there's some clarification so I answered this
See,
correctly.
this is
but,
what happens when people don't have cameras.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
bro.
saying.
Yeah, when you don't have a camera, you're
Straight
still working.
anime profile individuals.
Oh,
over
yeah.
Anime POV. So I actually think tournaments are almost in the best spot it could possibly be, basically, because pre-pandemic there were a lot of tournaments, a lot of tournaments you could go to. They're all like offline, right? And of course during the pandemic, because of a lot of companies like games not having good netcode. Like for example, I participated in Dragon Ball Fighters Nationals on East Coast, and they had to do a lot of stuff to make this thing work because the game's netcode is kind of doggy, let's say, not the best.
What did they have to do? Because I didn't know about this. What did they have to do?
Yes, so one, they had to split it in between regions. So there were 2 US regions. There were like, I want to say maybe 2 Europe regions, and then there was a Japan region. And then it had to be ran on PC. And then on the production side, they had to do things like hide the delay between people. That was a big one because some players were really far from each other, even in region. So there were cases where people had like 5-frame delay, but they didn't want people to see that the delay was bad. So they had to like hide it by putting a Dragon Ball logo above the delay so that you couldn't see it. They had to do a bunch of stuff.
He's
right?
cooking.
So-
He's telling you all the facts. I didn't even.
Yeah, that's what happened. I mean, that's what happened.
All right, bro. I'm okay.
Yes, I mean, if you look up the matches, you'll see it. Like this, if you play the game online and then you watch the 2020 Dragon Ball National Championships, you'll see it. You'll see it. It's very clear if you play the game. no, so it was great that they had something anyway during the pandemic when people couldn't like gather, but it was really clear how the weakness of the infrastructure they made because they were just assuming everything could be offline. So with everything moving into rollback, now you have a scenario where people who or either don't have like a immediate scene like myself, or people who live like in the middle of nowhere that they can play and compete if they want, and then if they want to choose to go offline, they have that. So I'm kind of like with, especially Kizzie, because Kizzie mentioned this. Like the last thing I think we really need is having like some type of ladder type situation where you performing well online brings you to something larger and more important and more prestigious offline. Right now, we kinda like low key have that just because we have like, oh, well, you could do well in all these Discord online tournaments, but how are you gonna do a combo breaker? Are you gonna pull out? How are you gonna do a CEO or Evo? But we don't have like an official one where you kind of just like show up and then it's
Yeah.
real, as opposed to like an actual like thing. Yeah. So it's almost perfect, I would say, honestly.
Do you lot feel like fighting game tournaments are missing like maybe like an element of interviews and stuff like that, something that's more personal? Like, because I feel like fighting games right now, like when I've been watching tournaments for years, like decades now, it feels like, and it just feels like player A, player B. Oh, this person done a sick combo. All right, cool, GG's. All right, next person, and it just get until it gets to like the top 8. And it's still the same thing, you know. I don't feel like we're understanding the characteristics of these players. Like these players might be playing for ages. Or it might be it might be their first tournament. Yes, the commentators will say if it is or it isn't, but I want to know more about the players, and that's how I feel about it. But what do you lot think about it?
No, I mean, I think you're 100% correct on that. Tournaments are very boring to watch. Like I can't stand watching the first day of a tournament or the second day of a tournament. I only like watching kind of like top 8 personally. Um I always said this is like I wish the FGC in terms of production and tournament, they took like some notes from from Smash tournaments. I feel like Smash tournaments, they do all that type of stuff, right? They do interviews, they do exhibitions, they do cool contests, like combo challenges and everything. Stuff that's like different from player A versus player A or player B versus player B. And we don't really have enough of that. I think the closest thing we do have for something like that is Combo Breaker, where they have like auction tournaments and everything like that.
Yeah.
But even then, like that's maybe what 10% of the whole tournament that actually does that. 90% will still be the same thing that you're like. It's not enough. It's always just A B B like regular tournament matches here and there. But we do kind of like lack in terms of like player personality showcasing like what the player's about. Like yeah, like I know that Kizzie is an amazing player with Kai, right? Or Lord Knight's really good with Milia, but we don't know what are they like, you know, how are they like outside of the game. And I think we need more of that, because a lot of times players don't really showcase an opportunity of like who they are as a person, unless like you as a viewer really dive in to look for their socials, look for their Twitch. But what if you don't want to? What if you want to know more about them while watching the tournament, right? And if you had the opportunity to know more about them as a person at the tournament, then you probably decide to follow them, decide to support them, right? Because you know you might not be, you might be like, yeah, I don't know him as a person, so I can't relate to the person, so I don't want to go for that extra mile. So I do think we missed that. Like fighting game terms are, or at least from a viewer perspective, like if you're just a casual fan, it might not be as exciting compared to a hardcore fan.
It's very
Yeah.
it's
And
Sorry, Kizzy. I just wanted to just quickly just cut in on that one. Sorry, my bad. I just wanted to say that's a very interesting thing you just said there, because like you could ask someone like, "Oh, what's your favorite anime?" or "What's
Yeah.
your favorite food?" Like, and it could just be something that's a topic on Twitter as soon as that person said that, and it's like, "Oh yeah, like he said that he thinks, I don't know, this chocolate is better than this chocolate, or this food is better than that food." Like certain little things like that is really interesting. And
Yeah, like if I said this, and this is for me a fact, pineapples are great on pizza, right? And there we go. We, you know, see, like stuff like that. People want to like talk about that. They want to clip that on Twitter
we can't
and have this
we can't.
conversation.
Justin,
That's what
Justin,
you
Justin,
mean.
Justin. Please.
What do you mean?
Please.
Hawaiian pizza is a real thing.
Justin,
He's spitting, by the
please.
way. He's spitting. That's
Lord,
good.
this is why you don't have your video camera up, because you're
You're
gonna
yeah.
spit out
This
for
is why.
everything.
This is why.
Anime avatar, bro.
This is why.
good,
Anime avatar, bro.
It's good for real. What do you mean?
No
Anime avatar
way.
energy, bro. And
No.
you got anime figurines in the background. Makes sense.
No, but that is, I think that's a very good thing to have, because like you said, I don't watch, sometimes I even miss top 8s. I just generally, I'm not in tune with the whole fighting game tournaments anymore. Like I'd rather watch a stream rather than watch a tournament, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, yeah, it's a bit annoying, to be fair. But Kizzie, let me know what you're saying, man. Sorry for cutting you, man.
No, that's okay. So I always feel, and Japan actually does this for their players, especially for like Street Fighter League. Like they will literally have the team like kind of like interview and talk about themselves. They'll do like a whole like just like asking questions and them talking about themselves and expressing themselves. And that's why like a lot of people really have a connection with these players. I feel just because that they have like a story. Like all these players have stories. Hell, they even made a music video and them singing and like doing like all of this crazy stuff. Like these are Street Fighter players slash Dragon Ball players like doing this, right? And that's all for like a tournament. This is all for like tournament content, right? It's not even like anything like for them. It's for the event. And I feel like most of the people that actually has a personality, in my opinion, is that gets the most is either the person who gets first place or the commentators. And I feel that we don't have like a middle ground where we just have like a thing where we grab somebody that is like a good player or like going into top 8. Hey, you're in top 16. How do you feel about it? You know how like before how they go through like the break. I feel like within that break, they should actually do live recordings and things like that and get footage and be like, hey, you're in top 32 losers. How do you feel about this? You're one of the players that people are voting for to win. How do you feel about your run? And like kind of talk about it and just kind of get a little information about them so people can kind of like be excited when they come up on the stage.
Exactly.
And then have like that excitement coming up, right? Like for example, when like your favorite anime, like when somebody goes like, Six Sage, you know what I mean? Like people are excited because they're like, yo, he went like this crazy form. They don't just bring you into the fight. They bring you to the next episode. You get what I'm saying? So now when you go into the next episode, you're excited. And I feel like we don't have something to build excitement before the match. It's like you said, we just sit down and you play. This dude just get washed, or they get washed, or she gets washed. Pack it up. You know what I mean? And we don't have any of that. And I feel like that we can do something like that. I feel like we have the production to do these things actively through this thing. I just think that it's about taking a step forward and doing something outside of the norm that we already have. Maybe like a talk show between like ads. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like these games are coming up. We're gonna have a talk show and just talk about like what's been going on in the tournament, and then have these individuals talk and bring special player guests and just kind of discuss about like how they feel and like who's like good, who's the underdog, like create these names, like who's the hot player of the tournament that's going to win, who's that underdog, and who do you think is going to be the dark horse, and like kind of like break that down and like talk about that. We don't have anything like that, and I feel like that is what's missing that makes fighting games even more great. Right now we're just using something that's been used 40 years ago, bro. We're literally like
Ago.
barbarians, bro. Like we're just using like this just really basic format that is effective, and we just need to like take it to the next level. But I feel like a lot of people are stuck in one way and they don't want to elevate to the new way. That also benefits the old way as well, naturally. It's just bringing everybody up together.
Yeah, it definitely does. That would be good if there was like a tournament, like say for example, Combo Breakers coming up, and they had players talking about, oh, so what do you not think about Tekken 8 because the game's not out yet? It would be good to hear just various different people just what their thoughts are about it. I think that would be amazing.
Right.
Very, very, very good points.
Yeah, Kizzie, definitely mentioned like they've been doing that for a while, like over in like Japan and stuff. Like even like Togeki, like before in top four or whatever, they would have all their players like say how they feel about the next match and stuff like that. But I do feel like some of the bigger tournaments try to do some of the stuff that y'all were talking about. Like, one thing that I've seen them do is like Combo Breaker does like like hypest grand final from X year or something, or like craziest comeback from X year. They were doing that last year, where they're like during the stream and during downtime, they would have like for example, they had a set of mine from the year I won Blaze Blue and got second in Persona, and they had like the last round of Persona with SQ making a comeback on me or something, and they had that rolling like the whole time. Because yeah, I agree with Justin. Like day one, like I never watch pools. I actually had a friend they and this is probably a spicy take for a normal fighting game player, but I think people who've been in it for a long time probably agree. Like, or at least agree in some way. I had a friend tell me that he thinks streaming pools is a waste of time, and they should just do something else while the pools are running. Um, which I think some people would not like that. But I see why he says that, and how like you can kind of see how they're quietly restructuring that day one early
Yeah.
pools thing. So like, oh, they only show matches with well-known players, or they'll show like one or two matches, and then they'll have just commentators talking for a little bit while they're doing stuff and try to run the pool as fast as possible. And I think it's a really, I do agree, it's a really big problem. Like, I think there's more that could be done than interviews and stuff. That because I think the main issue that you got to think about is, uh, like on the production side. I think, how much can they do with the amount of time that they have, including like special events, there's not just auction tournaments, right? There's what else? Mystery game tournament,
Mystery
like
game tournaments. Yeah.
like stuff like that. Like how much time do you have to do stuff like that? But like the shift has to be towards I think all the biggest like US tournaments, for example, have done like a really good shift of making the tournament more than a tournament into like top 32 or top 16 or whatever. And like it's like they can improve on that, and then the tier of tournament under that, they have to like try to move up to making their tournament more than a tournament via these methods.
So I think there's two things to that, because I feel like number one is you got to remember that there's probably like going to be some really good matches in pools that we probably won't be able to see. Do you know what I mean? That those
I
type of
agree.
matches.
That does happen. That
Those,
does happen. Some of them are off stream, by the way. There's the legendary Evo off stream matches, right? Of like just really like me versus KV happened off stream in Exerd once for top 32. Like those matches happen all the time. So I mean, I'm there with you, but sometimes that just happens.
Yeah, you can't control that. Even
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just happened. It just happened recently at Genesis, which is like the one of the biggest Smash tournaments in the world, and like so many high level matches like were played off stream, and then there was no recording or anything like that. So like Mango, he lost to a Dr. Mario off stream. Like
I know recorded it.
people
Yeah,
want to
my.
people 100% want to see that.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I'm saying.
you know, and also like I know you said something about like the production thing. I feel like the way like prices has been going up in terms of like everything else. I feel like I would like for the what I'm investing in coming to this event be something worthwhile, right, for everybody. And I know that's a bit harsh to say, but like it's coming to the point where like we don't have a lot of like standard things like coming in too. So like like we don't always have headphones given to us and things like that, right? And I would think things like that would be like a natural standard, especially when I'm spending more money coming to an event every single year. It's like an extra $10, $15. So I feel personally that there should be something that they'd be like, well, we don't have this. We should probably like do more, rather than just doing the minimum that they've been doing. I'm not saying that the bare minimum is bad, but I'm saying like more exciting things, and I think that will be nice, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I have a blast when I go to offline tournaments. For me personally, I just enjoy it just because not because of like how the tournaments is run or everything, but I just enjoy seeing people. I like being part of the vibe. It's like kind of like if you went to like a wrestling show off like in real life, you would feel more like the energy. I just love the energy feeding it from it because everyone's so hype. You don't really feel that energy when you're watching pay-per-view. You know, if I'm on the WWE network, I'm not feeling the same pay-per-view when if Stone Cold Steve Austin makes a guest appearance at WrestleMania. If I saw it in person, I would lose my shit. If I saw it online, I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool," right? There's two different like energy levels, and I think offline, I have no complaints with like offline tournaments. If I go to offline, like I said, I just if I'm online, if I'm home, I'm not watching pools. Like I'm not watching pools. I'm not watching until I see something pop off on Twitter or top eight's happening. Because I just have more options, right? Maybe I could go on Netflix or go on Crunchyroll, watch something else that I want to watch.
I mean, you know what? I feel like it's definitely a topic for discussion for everyone else to kind of like figure out what they want. It's like what their interest is, right? Because I think sometimes like I'll know that the tournament's on and I'm like, yeah, nah, I'd rather stream or I would rather do this, or
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. But then in Top 8, it's like, who's gonna win it? It's exciting. So yeah. But we'll move on to the next question. So the next question is, what is your honest thoughts about the fighting game community as a content creator? Do you think there's many resources to grow? Are there enough collaborations? Justin, you go first.
Oh man, you know, I'm pretty much went from a pro player to a content creator. But personally, I love it. I love it personally. I love the transition. I think it's really fun. It's definitely, I would say, less stressful compared to like winning like a super major, trying to win Evo, or like, you know, becoming the best in the world. Just because it's like you can casually just have fun making content. Like you can kind of just troll, make some bullshit happen, and people eat that up because it's relatable. I do think we have a lot of resources now because we have all these opportunities with like rollback for so many games. You even have like people from the community put time and effort making kind of like enhancement for even older games. Like they have Marvel 3, it has crap online. They play on Parsec, but guess what? They also made modded characters where
Yeah,
you can
that
play
was great.
character, you can play characters that are not even in the game. They just like literally made them from scratch, right? Took like these assets and make these cool ass characters. You even have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus make a mod where it's like very like kind of like super Guilty Gear style, where it's like all combo heavy. So you have so many resources to like kind of play variety of fighting games. You have Fightcade if you want to play games that you probably never played before, growing up in the arcade or anything like that. But I do think we do not have enough collaborations. That is 100%, at least in my opinion, a fact. You know, there's times we do collabs in general, but in general, it's kind of really hard to make collabs just because time is an issue. Maybe like the other content creator doesn't want to do the specific collab or anything like that, or they just want to do their own thing. But you know, in general, I'm always open to collabs. You know, I I done collabs with Kizzie a lot. You know, I'm on the podcast with you, Jay. Me and Lord Knight are already talking about something. Like I'm always down to do collabs because I want everybody to grow. But I do think because of the pandemic as well, there are so many more fighting game content creators now, right? And you know, and I really do love that. And you know, I know this might also be a hot take as well too, and I do think one of the reasons why there's a growth of content creators in the FGC is a Panda, man. Panda started it. That's how I
Yep.
feel.
Yep. So I think actually, I think Panda actually created I would say a hot seat for a lot of people to like kind of get up and kind of do something they want to do. And I think that's great, regardless of like how you got up. I just think that the fact that we have a lot, and we have a lot of variety of things too. Like, you know, we got people who make guides. You know, you got people who are very like educational and things like that. You got people like funny. You got people who just post like random hot clips that is hilarious. I like all of that, right? Like, obviously, I don't have like, obviously I have a favorite, and I'm always going to lean towards that favorite. But as a whole, it's good for everybody, right? And I think that is the most important thing. Um, Going to like a player to like a content creator is hard for me. It was a challenge. Still is a bit of a challenge, only just because how things are progressing, and how things are changing and things like that. But overall, I would say I have so much fun just because like, you know, getting somebody that like never really gave this a shot and they'd be like, yo man, I did not know this exists. Thank you, this is so fun. Like, I want to get this. And I think that is a great feeling. Like that is a great accomplishment. It's like getting somebody to give something a shot because they just watch your stuff and they love it. And I think that is like such a great thing because now they created their own like journey. Like you're like that pillar of like whatever direction they want to go. And I think that is just super fun. I just like trying out new things and like talking mess and playing around and having fun and things like that. And then sometimes I go into the moment where like I like to talk about like my philosophy and things like that. And it's like really fun. I like really like gauging like all of those aspects. Just super tight because I feel like we don't really have like a person to really talk about these things. Like we don't have like a player like a player talk show where like all the pro players get together and just talk about their mindset about a lot of things. Like right, so I like to like share that a little bit. I we don't do a lot of collabs as a whole, and I think one of the things is just like time, and a lot of people just don't want to like work with certain people, and I think that we should break that barrier of whatever barrier that exists from those individuals and just do more shit. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna like benefit all of us. And at the end of the day, you're making money. So like, why does it really like why hold yourself back off of something that don't exist? Um, so I would like more collabs. Actually, I'm super open to everybody. I worked with Justin, LK, Jay when we did the with the Teach Me
Teach me.
with Guilty
Yep.
Gear.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and even just times when we just talked and we did the when Strive and we was talking about Strive before it came out and we were talking about characters and things like that. So I'm super open to like just working with anybody. I don't I can adjust for time zones and things like that. So yeah, like I would personally like more collabs as a whole, and yeah, thanks for Panda for everybody hitting the fire and getting up and trying to do this now. We gotta really thank Panda for that. Just now we have so much and it's like so good, and everybody has their own flavor, and that's what's most important in my opinion.
Lord Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hear that. They're cooking up that fire over there. The pandas,
Yeah,
the panda side. You know what I'm
Panda
saying?
people.
Yep. 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 I want to hear it from
Panda.
you, man.
Yeah, shouts to Panda. I mean, put on my boy Kizzie and Justin, right? Like, I think as a content creator, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty good right now. Um, I've talked about this with Kizzy before, but I always thought we were behind in content for like a really long time. I basically think the fighting game community is behind like tier one esports by around like 2 or 3 years, you know? So for me, the fact that there's so much more content coming out, um, is a really good sign of growth in the community more than new games and players is actually that more people are making content and more people are engaging with it. That's a really, really, really good sign, and that people are growing through content as well. I think that's really, really important. Especially like in my case, because since I'm from kind of more niche games, like the fact that people engage with the type of content I make, one was like pretty surprising, but two, I was like pretty happy that people, because for a long time, because we were just behind. I remember people being like, "Oh, there's some types of things like people don't care about learning. They only care about like stuff for beginners. That's the only thing that's good, blah blah blah." But I just like after a while, I was like, I don't know if that's the truth, so I kind of like hopped in with that in mind. And at this point, like what Kizzy was saying, like there's so many lanes you can go in. There's so many lanes that people are doing as far as like educational stuff, retrospectives, and things like that. So there's a lot of things you could do. There's also way more resources than before, not just from like what you would consider to be uh traditional content creators, so like someone who just does like YouTube or like Twitch or something like that, but also like general information hubs are much easier to access and much more thorough. I'm sure I don't know if Kizzy was around for this, but I know Justin was, where you had to like get the Japanese guide and like someone had to translate it and then
Yep,
like
Yeah.
I
put on
remember
the
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you came around at
I
the end
came
of
like
that.
the end of it. I came
At
at
the
the
end
end
of
of it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
2014.
That's a
yeah.
struggle, boy. That sounds like a
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
struggle.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like if I was home, I would pull out like my old Multi Blood guide or my old BBCS1 guide and stuff like that I used to have. Now, when a patch drops, Dustloop gets updated within like 24 hours. Like it's much, much, much faster and more comprehensive than before. Depending on what game you're playing, even niche games have this. which I think is really good. There's like Mizuumi and stuff for like all the niche anime games, for example. So
Yeah.
I think that's much better compared to before. I do think we're behind on collaborations in two ways. And I'm trying to be the change that I want to see as usual. So I'm trying to act on this really hard. So one, it's not that people don't collaborate a lot. I think people do collaborate a good amount. I think the problem personally is that I think we collab on stuff that we have been doing before and not with new ideas. So an example would be like, oh, I play Kizzie in Guilty Gear, and then we both upload our matches from our perspective, which probably would have been cool like 5 years ago, but I don't think it would cut it anymore. So I've been trying like, for example, I did a video of Jam Crops and Sajam about like moves that are really broken in fighting games, and like Sajam plays games that I don't play, and Jam Crops plays games that I don't play. So it connects something that people are kind of interested in with games that people may or may not have experience in, and then they will like compare and stuff like that. I've been learning a lot from like content creators from outside, really outside fighting game community, like fitness, cooking, general internet commentary and stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of the move, maybe. So me personally, I'm trying to step up to what people who are beyond us in other communities have been doing to kind of like pull everybody up in this way.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying that people don't work together. I'm saying that we could just kind of do something more interesting to kind of attract people who are like on the fringes of getting into fighting games, and then like get them into our bubble, and then everyone goes up and engages and have fun.
No, yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah.
I thinking outside the box because I watch a lot of different type of content outside of fighting game content just to kind of like maybe try to X copy or bring it into the FGC to have a difference. Like I follow a lot of offline TV stuff. Like I love kind of like their collabs in general with like kind of like their game house and everything. Even when if I play sets with like people like other content creators, I don't even upload like my perspective anymore. Just because like you said, it's just kind of like the same thing over and over. But it's like anything kind of like different and outside the box, like that's kind of like what I want to focus on as well with when it comes to collabs, just because like if you do your perspective versus another person's perspective, it's just like it's the same content. We have similar subscriber counts in terms of like the same amount of people there. Most people will follow Kizzie, follow myself, follow Lord, and I follow Jay. Like, so why would I watch a second perspective of like the same content I'm watching, right? So you need to change it up for sure when it comes to collabs.
Cool. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what everyone just said. I kind of want to give my honest spin on the question because I feel like you lot answered it. You lot answered it in a nice way. I personally think like the resources that we have is cool, but I don't feel like as a collaborate like we don't collaborate nowhere near enough. And what I mean by that is I've had a look at like some other like content creators. I've looked outside of fighting games because I couldn't really find that many content creators for fighting games. Like it's like the really good editors, they're really hard to find. I found one today and he's absolutely amazing. But then it's like I won't find another one for a good while. It's very, very hard to find everyone. So in terms of collaborations, I don't feel like a lot of people do it. I don't think it's because of the style of the content. I just feel like everyone likes to do this whole thing of have their own island and do it by themselves. I feel like that's a very fighting game community mentality. It's like, oh yeah, well, I'll get to this amount by myself. And really and truly, it's not gonna cut it because there is collaborations to help. So like, let me break it out and make it more simple. I watch like in America, I watch AMP. They're like a whole group. They're content creation. They do content creation, but they all stream on their own channels. But they all come together and do a video once a week. Sidemen, they do their own channel. They do their own stuff individually, but they have their own channel where they come together and do content I think it's like once a week, or it's quite frequent. And they're all of them are very big social media wise, and all of their social medias, they're very big. We don't have anything like that in the UK. Well, not even the UK, sorry. In the FGC in general, I'm talking Japan, Korea, America, UK, anywhere in Europe. We don't have any of that where there's a group of players where they're doing their own content, but then they come together and do a video together. The only brand that I know that does that is Panda Global. That's the only brand that I know that's done something where it's had different fighting game players come together and do a video together. But it's still not in the way that I think of the content. I'm thinking of something
Beast
like
Coast did it a little bit too. Beast Coast did it a little bit too.
Yeah, my team does that.
Yeah, Beast Coast does it now. COG is also doing it.
So we're starting to get there now. I think, but just it should be more. I 100% agree that it should be way more than what it is right now. It should be like more active. I will agree, 100%.
And on top of that, I was watching like, I'm not a League of Legends person. It's only last year because I was talking about content just randomly on my stream, and they were like, "Yeah, look at League of Legends, look at League of Legends." I'm like, it's not my thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
I was watching like Tyler One and Faker on a call. Like they just done the cameras of like the mobile phone thing and just screen captured it of them having a conversation. I said, this is the stuff that I'm talking. This is I can swear. This is the shit I was talking about. Like this is just the normal content where it doesn't require that much editing. I can like even like content ideas. Justin, me and you, we could talk about anime or food. Like, you know, what anime like do you think Boruto's good? If we spoke for 3 to 5 minutes, that is content. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Boruto's kind of trash for the most part, but it had good moments.
Yeah, nah, it's fully trash. There's only like,
it can't be fully trash. You're crazy though. They got some good fights though.
What, Ishiki? Is that it?
I mean, that's one.
Name me 5.
I mean, I can't name 5, but it's coming. I don't want. I read the manga. I don't want to spoil, but it's coming.
Bro, we've been waiting for ages. How much filler?
That dinosaur, bro.
Bro.
The dinosaur you had to fight. That was another top 5 fight.
He's in a dinosaur. Sasuke the dinosaur.
How is this guy? Sorry, Lord. Now I'm sorry you have to deal with this for a second. But listen,
Nah, I'm chilling.
How is Sasuke fighting a dinosaur, bro? What? Like,
he lost his arm.
Bro, no. I think the funniest part about that fight is not because the dinosaur, is that the artist actually redrew Sasuke's arm in one scene.
I
so
saw
he actually had 2 arms. I'm like,
arms.
wait, why does he have 2 arms now in one scene?
He was going through it that week, bro.
This guy went from fighting gods to fighting a dinosaur, and it looks like it's close. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Boruto, they should have just left it at Shippuden. But yeah, like I said, that we could do content on that. We could talk about anime. We could talk about old school games because there's old school games that I like, and I always watch when you're playing the retro stuff. My favorite retro game is Tobu 1 and 2. Like, so all of that stuff, content like that is even good if we spoke. Kizzie, we could speak about loads of different things as well. Lord Knight, we could speak about loads of different things. But I just generally feel like we build, as a fighting game community, I feel like we build these barriers that are not there. Like, there's a lot of barriers that isn't there. Like, even for me, I thought, like, if I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't think I could get, you know, Justin Wong on. We've never had a collab together. Whereas me and Kizzie and me and Lord, we've had collabs on Strive. But, you know, I kind of break out of that barrier and not think that. But I feel like a lot of fighting game community content creators, they do this whole thing of, nah, he's too big. Oh, nah, he ain't gonna collab with me. We've never spoken before. Oh, nah, like, and it's like, you don't know until you ask. Like, just
that's a fact.
Just ask the question. Hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to go? Do you want to do it? But then there's also the thing of everyone likes their own islands. Like I said, I've messaged like 40, 50 people, and I've only got 9 people that's responded. And it's like, if something big happens on my channel or something big happens to me, they'll be the first to be like, hey, like, how did this happen? And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I'm trying to reach out to you to just do something quickly for me, like, and just like, it's just a community thing, and I just feel like a collab is good. But I've noticed from just doing even this, I'm just like, rare. This is not really. I don't know if it's a community based. I feel like it's kind of like we're all on the island and we're just doing our own thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I feel like more collabs should be working.
No, I hear you 100%. That's why I said I led off with, like, I'm trying to be the change that I want to see, you know, because I think, again, like, people do them. I don't think it's not that people don't do them. It's that when people do them, it's usually like just the same thing we're used to seeing, or like or any other ideas is like kind of rare. So like I said, like I'm actually trying to like this year, maybe like one of my top three goals is collab more with like interesting ideas that's easy for people to kind of I mean, when I say people, not even like the people watching, like the creator I'm trying to reach out to, that's easy for them to like work on. Like they don't have to put a lot of effort to come on. I just ask them, hey, get 3 or 4 things ready, and we'll just sit down and talk and do it.
It,
Like to make it as easy as possible with as little barriers as possible. That's like one of my biggest goals of the entire year.
and that's what I mean. It just needs to be that
Yeah.
easy. Because like even for me, for example, like I'm just screen recording what's going on here. I could make like I've got graphic design background. I could make a pretty overlay and stuff like that. But this is just to show how easy it is. Like I
Yeah.
said, Kai Cenat is on he's on some crazy amount of followers. Yeah. I was watching him just being a call, talking to random people on Discord like this, and I said, this guy's on this high amount of numbers and there's no like overlay. It's just, yeah, I'm capturing it. And I'm just like, why doesn't this happen? Random people calling him in the thing and he's just talking to them. I'm just like, yeah, this does not happen in the fighting game community. And the only thing I could bring it down to is everyone is creating these type of barriers for themselves where they're like, all right, well, I'm doing this my way. This is my content. This is my audience. Whatever. Like, I'm not gonna like, and it's like, if you really think about it, and let's break it down. There's 4 audiences. If we all did content together, or just even random 3 other people, you have 3 different audiences that you might not have tapped into, or they might not have known about you, right? And vice versa. You're gaining all of those eyes on you. You do this another day, you've got another set of audience that might not have had eyes on you. And this is why I think collaborations are super powerful. And I believe that if we don't do them, we're gonna be doing the same thing. And don't get me wrong, you're gonna grow, Justin, Kizzie, you're gonna grow, Lord Knight, you're gonna grow and stuff like that. I'm gonna grow on my channel. But it wouldn't be the same if there was consistent amount of collaborations. Like when I look at the highest person right now for fighting game content, Maximilian's the highest, and then we have another guy, Super. There's a gray area until you see, like, I don't know, Avoid in the Puddle, the main man, Justin, Kizzie. Like, there's quite a bit of gray areas. It's like, there's for amount of people that play and amount of time we've put into making content and competing or whatever, there should be way more content creators. There should be way more going on. There should be way more collaborations. So, yeah, that's just my thought process on it. I don't know if you lot agree or disagree.
No,
or...
I mean,
Nah.
I think also the growth of content creators has like recently increased because like we were stuck at home, right? Like more people started personally Twitch streaming, and they're like gaining like obviously more viewers because of that, because there's no random major tournament of the week that we have to travel to anymore. Because before, like when I was playing in like CPT, I was traveling like literally almost like 2-3 times a month, right? And when I'm come home, I'm not trying to stream. I'm not trying to make content. Like, I'm tired as hell, and I got to worry about fighting against Tokido and Daigo the following week. So I need to be in the lab and not showing stuff, right? And then I think a lot of players also felt like kind of a similar vibe where they just wanted just to relax before getting on a plane to go to a different country again, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, because like I started content creating like at least for maybe two and a half years now,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm always like in tournaments, but I never really fully started YouTube seriously until kind of like the year before the pandemic happened,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people also had kind of similar vibes, so that's why I think like as a all the content creators you mentioned, like Maximilian, Super, they've been doing it for a long time now. You know what I mean? So, and I do think that the growth that everyone else is having from the most recent years to pandemic is actually pretty good growth. And
sure.
I think more collabs will happen and everything like that. But I just think that's kind of the perspective as well, is that since there wasn't many tournaments to go to and we had to stay home, we had to adapt, and I think that's what we did as a community, fighting game community. We adapted from being only a pro player to actually being a hybrid of pro player and content creator.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely, definitely. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna move on to the last question. The last question is, do you think fighting games? I don't know about this one. All right, cool. Do you feel fighting games will ever reach League of Legends status, or enough for there to be loads of opportunities and bigger prize pools? So when I mean opportunities, I mean like, fighting game developers, having content creator programs where they can, they might have, I don't know, a campaign for a game, and they're paying, the content creators or the players, TOs, whatever. Do you reckon we'll get to that stage at some point? Like maybe with Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 8?
Oh man,
You can be honest, man.
it's tough. Like I can't visually imagine that. I mean, I do think every year we like tournaments and more developer support and putting like money into the prize pool or giving more money back to content creators, it does get higher every year. I think, but it just getting to League of Legends worth where it's like millions, or where like you can get last place and like you still going off of like at least $10,000. I don't think we'll see that for a long time personally. Like I just don't see it. Like it's just really hard to kind of like say that, even with Project L coming along.
Even
You know,
with.
like even with Project L coming along, like obviously every Riot game does well, but I just don't see it in terms of League of Legends. Like I don't know how well the other games does. Like I think Valorant does very well. Like, everyone talks about Valorant right now, but is Valorant the same prize pool as a League of Legends prize pool? I don't I don't see
don't think-
talks about stuff like that, right? And what's the card game? What's the card game?
I don't know.
Hearthstone? Hearthstone fell off, right?
Not Hearthstone. Hearthstone's from Blizzard, but there was a League of Legends card game, isn't there?
Oh,
Yeah, you're
Runeterra.
talking about
Yeah, Runeterra. Like, I don't hear anybody talk about Runeterra anymore like that. It's kind of like Project L could possibly be like an NRS thing where it's like we have developer support for like X amount of time, money going through there, and eventually there's no more like developer support in terms of like content creators or tournaments, because they're like, you know what, it just didn't do as well that we thought, so let's move on to the next project, right? And then the community and the community has to be in charge after that to kind of like run like their own Project L tournaments here and there. And also like, like I love the canons and I love the people working on the game, but I'm not sure if they're gonna follow the same vision that Riot has for League of Legends games, because with League of Legends you have the players, right? They have LCS. You have to sign an exclusive contract where you can only play League of Legends. So any competitor like Dota and everything like that, you cannot play with them. You know what I mean? You cannot play those games. So imagine you're a Project L player. You get paid blah blah blah. But you can't play Guilty Gear Strive anymore. You can't play Tekken 8 anymore. You can't play Street Fighter 6 anymore. You can't even tweet about it. Right? Is that something you're willing to sacrifice?
Is that how it's
freedom
like?
of playing? Yeah.
I
The
didn't
freedom
know
of
that.
playing other fighting game tournaments is going to be gone if you sign up, possibly if the Project L did something like that.
Damn. I didn't know it was like that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, would you sacrifice yourself for that? It's tough. It's hard.
I can't even tweet about it. I can't tweet about Tekken 8 or nothing.
No, I remember seeing somebody get in trouble. They get a fine if you talk about the competitor.
A fine.
Yeah. And me, I love playing every fighting game. Like I love it all, but it's just like obviously the bag is gonna be great, but it's just so hard. That's why you have ex players, right? They're League of Legends streamers, but they play everything else too because they're not like signed to an exclusive like contract, a player contract or anything like that, right? So like they started as I think a full-time player or a full-time content creator for League of Legends, and then eventually they're just like, all right, we're big enough, so we can just leave and do our own thing. It's just kind of hard to see, at least for me, to kind of just like sign an exclusive contract to only play one game. It's for me, it's tough, I think.
Yeah, essentially you're basically employed by Riot Games, so it does make sense in a way,
Yeah.
like, but I just don't think I could do it. Lord Knight, could you do it?
I mean, it depends on where I'm at. Like, if I'm still driven to compete, then I'm gonna do it because I only play one game at a time. Like, as far as tournaments, I only play one game at a time. I haven't played multiple tournaments at the same time since like the beginning of Xrd. So I would probably do it just based on that. To be honest. It's something everyone has to think about though if they go that way. I think we're a very long way from that. I think we're like not only do I think we're a long way from that, but also it's not going to come from Japan. It's going to come from a Western dev.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's not going to come from Japan. There's no way. They are they're being forced to catch up. Which is good. It's a good thing that they're being forced to, but because they're playing catch up nonstop, I don't think it's gonna come from like a Japanese dev. It's gonna come from a Western dev or a Western branch of a Japanese dev, and they're gonna like force it. They're gonna be like, "Yo, listen," because a lot of the stuff that we've been doing right now, I can't really say for CPT, but I know like a lot of like I probably I don't know if I'm allowed to say some of this stuff, but just maybe some tournaments that exist right now are because of some people's efforts. There we go. That's probably the best way I can say that. Specific people's efforts, like people who have very common U.S. names. There you go. If
So
that makes sense.
no, it makes
That's
sense.
probably the best way I could put it. So I don't think it's gonna come from the West if we even get like close to that. I think it can come, but like not for a long time.
So you basically just saying that, bro, the way how Japanese fighting game developers, the way how they do it,
Yeah.
wouldn't be as good as if there was like someone with an American or a Western influence. Correct?
Well, yeah, basically, I feel like it's really hard. It just seems that it's really hard for them to push through like the old methods of doing stuff. I mean, netcode is a very easy example, but there was also like, when Dragon Ball came out, they were setting surveys about like, should there be a world tour? Should there be a world tour? When everyone was like, duh, like this is the
Duh.
hugest
Yeah.
game. Why are you gonna wait 9 months to start this when like it's getting like every like beginner guide is getting like 3 million views and stuff for Dragon Ball? They're like, huh, I wonder if we should put money into this game or like make sure like we should keep up with marketing this game. You know what I mean? Where one thing that I kind of like about Street Fighter 6 is that it seems like they're doing like everything differently from the jump. Like from before the game comes out. Like everything that people said, why don't they do this? They do this in other games. They're doing it now, and I think it's a really, really, really big step forward. But we still have like more to do. That's all.
Definitely. No, it makes a lot
Yeah,
of sense.
way more to do. Way more to do.
See, this is why it's good that I wanted to have the talk with you. Like, is Kizzie around? Kizzie just disappeared. I don't know if he's.
I think his internet cut out or something. He on that
Dang.
Vegas trash internet.
Oh,
Damn.
true. He's on that spectrum.
So I wanted to
That's
ask.
true.
I wanted to ask a quick bonus question before we head out of this. Cause I know we've hit the hour. What was so obviously I know that we all do content creation and stuff like that. I wanted to know like what was your brief outbreak moment? So like my outbreak moment was when I was doing Tekken 7 beginner guys. That's what blew up my channel. But what type of content? This is for like content creators around the world because they're probably watching you lot and thinking, right, what happened with them? What was the outbreak moment for you lot? Like, what made your channel grow? Like, what was type of content was you lot doing and stuff like that?
So I was kind of just like mashing on content, like literally just mashing on like I don't know what I want to do. I just like decided to post this, post that, and then one day I decided to post like me fighting stupid ass fighting game bosses,
Okay.
and that one blew up a lot because obviously I never really like I'm always a competitor. So I only play 1v1 mode. So I never played like go through arcade mode and everything like that for like a lot of the games. Like I've done it for like Marvel's Capcom games, right? But I never did it for like SNK games or like even other random games, right? And they were really hard. And obviously, I'm suffering through it. This is bullshit. Bosses are unfair. AI reading, stuff like that. And people ate that shit up. And the reason why is when I thought about it, it's relatable. it's relatable content because they have also been in a situation many a times that maybe they couldn't beat the boss or maybe they took hours to beat the boss, so they just maybe want to see how a pro player can possibly fight in this situation. A pro player should be able to do this no
Mm,
problem. It's probably what a lot of people's thought process are. They think when they think about a professional video game player, they think, oh, they're way better than me. They're way out of my league. But then in reality, I get body too, right?
mm.
So it becomes relatable content. A lot of the content I decide to do is just relatable things, hits nostalgia, hits that I used to play this, and then all the comments are like, "Oh man, if you did this, you could do this," right? They'll give me advice. They'll be like, "Oh, I remember this boss. I couldn't like struggle. I struggle with this situation, blah blah." Blah. So you get a lot of like comments like those that because they're bringing back like this is what I used to do back in the day. People love it. I get a huge engagements when it comes to comments on like majority of my YouTube channels, YouTube videos. So I think that's where it really hit.
That is actually crazy. That's a crazy story because I I couldn't understand why. Like if I was watching you play like a King of Fighters or an SNK boss, and I'm like, bro, this guy's struggling with this. I would definitely want to comment. I'll be like, yeah, SNK bosses, they're cheap. Da, 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 and it's
Yeah,
funny.
bro. Yeah, King of Fighters 95 Omega Rugal, he fucked
Oh.
me up, bro.
Oh my gosh, yeah, nah, I've been through the dramas of it, man. Yeah, it's stressful. It's stressful. But yeah, that's kind of, I've never really looked at it like that. Like doing, like, because I played so many other like old school fighting games and I've never ever thought like boss modes and stuff like that. I never thought that, yeah, this is what gets people. But from what it sounds like people really enjoy it up. You was playing the Jackie Chan game. Like,
Yeah.
talk to me about that as well. Because it's like when I was watching, I was like, this game looks so trash. But I am there watching it like and entertained, and I can't understand why I can't click off of
Oh,
it.
it's jank. I call it jank. With broken mechanics and everything. The AI is stupid hard as well too. And the fact that like I guess the way I play this, like obviously if you're playing a Jackie Chan fighting game, you're gonna play Jackie Chan. And there's three of them. So
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time I lose, I just pick a different Jackie Chan and be like, oh, which one's the better Jackie? So it helps that like I guess like people enjoy my reactions to like kind of like when I pick this or like I discover a cheap ass move or this random I get hit by a random ass infinite by a computer and stuff like that. People do enjoy kind of seeing my suffered reaction, but yeah, I relatable content and people love seeing me suffer is definitely the main thing. Anytime I get like hit Daigo parry, that's an instant like like 100K views right there because people wanted to see me get Daigo parried all the time. So it's just relatable shit like stuff like that that brings people that makes people happy. Like yesterday I saw somebody got a tattoo of Evo Moment 37, like literally the whole Chun-Li Daigo. Yeah, they got a whole tattoo on their arm about it,
Oh
and I'm like,
my.
damn, choices were made. I guess I inspired people.
That is crazy. A whole tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's choices were definitely made there, boy. That is crazy. Lord Knight, what was your outbreak moment, man?
Um, so I've been uploading videos here and there for like a really long time, like since I played like SSBM, but it wasn't until the middle of the year of season 2 of Dragon Ball Fighters, really. A good friend of mine actually like sat me down and he was like, "Listen, bro, like you're a pro player. It your job is not just competing. Your job is to make YouTube videos, and you need to stop being a little bitch and do that
Oh.
shit and stop making excuses for not making videos because all you do is make excuses. Like all you do is say like, oh, I'm not good at editing, or the guy has to edit is always busy, or no one is gonna care about the type of stuff you put out. So so then he told me after, and we went through more of this too. We talked, we had like a 3 hour talk where he just like shit on me, like just spitting facts and nonstop. And he was like, if you don't upload 8 videos in the next 2 weeks, you give me permission to tweet at you saying you're a little bitch and you have to retweet it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So I actually started I started by posting some matches And then like I started posting guides and just like I used to like write for SRK, like advice columns for SRK about like tournaments and stuff. So I would read it. I would just read my article and stuff. And eventually I got in the habit of doing it. Uh and because of a combination of like I do have success from a lot of fighting games in tournaments, and also like I'm kind of like an analyst and stuff, and a lot of my takes don't line up with a lot of my opinions are based off like how I research the game, but it doesn't line up with what other people think too. So uh, a lot of the stuff I talk about, especially in regards to like characters and things in the game, generate a lot of discourse either when like someone like downplays their character or someone thinks something's really broken, but I don't think it's that broken, or something that I think is really, really stupid that no one talks about. So it's a lot of that type of stuff. And then it's Dragon Ball also, so I started learning about like how to interact with like the general community for like a franchise. So like let's say for like a Street Fighter, most of the people are interested in Street Fighter. There are people who are casual Street Fighter fans, but most of them would be engaged with the competitive community anyway, because that's just what Street Fighter leans towards, or what Tekken would lead toward.
Yeah.
Where Dragon Ball Fighters has like this massive casual community of people who just like Dragon Ball, and then Dragon Ball Fighters is their first fighting game. So it was like a really unique angle there too, and I got really lucky to meet people from who hadn't really played fighting games who were playing Dragon Ball Fighters. So people like Lotus, Asakura, and like Dado, and people like that who gave me a lot of advice while I was doing that period. And since then, now I'm trying to be like a general fighting game creator because I play a lot of fighting games, not just one, and things have gone up since then.
Okay, so someone said, was it Lotus that gave you that talk?
No, no, no. It wasn't. I knew Lotus Sun, but it wasn't him. It was someone who was a tournament player told me that I'm being a little bitch, and he was right. And I have given the same talk to people, and to many people actually, and only like a handful of people have actually acted on it. So I like in hindsight, I realized like how hard of a commitment it can be to get through these barriers to like do this thing. So I'm actually really glad I did end up doing it.
Nah, I'm sorry for just jumping back in.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask what was the question again, if you guys don't mind me asking, like
Yeah,
the
nah,
question
I was
again.
gonna
So,
nah, no worries, no worries. I was gonna ask you the question. So the question is, do you no wait, what, no, we done that question already by the League of Legends. No,
so
wait,
I'm
wait,
gonna go
wait,
ahead.
wait, no. The
Hold
question
on,
was,
hold on, hold on, hold
I
on.
got no, I got it in my head. Let me finish it. The question was, what is your breakout moment on your YouTube channel? Like, what is the breakout moment that you had? Like, what was like mine was the Tekken guides. Justin's was basically when he done like the boss fights. Lord Knight's he had a few breakout moments. What is your breakout moment?
Oh, to answer the other question that I didn't get a chance to answer, I do truly believe at one point of life that fighting games can get big as League. I think it's very impossible to see it now, but I do think that with the effort that we put as creators and scenes, I feel like if we are as strong together, then we could do a lot of possibilities. But until that is not happening, and the connection that we have with like developers right now, we don't have like a connection with that. We're not going to see any progress at all. And that's just pretty much it. Now to answer the other question, I would say a lot of the breakthroughs that I've had, to be honest, I had a couple. Is a lot of people like my takes along about just talking about just various games and like how I feel about how things are going towards in terms of direction. A lot of people like my trial runs too. So I think a lot of people love like when I do like trial runs and things like that. And also a lot of people love my tier list. As much as people hate about oh man, tier list sucks and things like that. But people love seeing what's godlike or how people feel about like this thing and things like that. And overall, I think it's pretty great to just have like you can have fun with things and checking those things out. I feel I don't understand why tier lists are looked down upon nowadays. I I actually just trying to figure out why because it wasn't a thing. It started in the pandemic. People always was like posting tier lists and everybody was down about it.
You guys, you didn't know? Like I was the inventor of the pandemic random tier list.
Yeah, I remember when you put your
Like-
random candy tier list. And
The
like,
random
bro,
candy.
I started it all. Because I wanted everybody to not feel depressed about themselves and everything like that. I decided to get all that anger and send it to me. Right,
Nah,
so
nah,
people can
you had
talk
some
about.
bad takes though. You had some
Oh,
bad
so-
takes.
Oh,
So
I'm
you're-
saying, but I got your minds thinking though. You feel me?
so you telling me I was like Kid Gohan and used to Piccolo protecting
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
Damn,
bro.
I don't know, bro.
Teaching you the special beam cannon.
Yeah. But you know, honestly, and I think I think a lot of people just really like hearing like how I feel about games and things like that, because you know, the way I always push my direction in terms is like, obviously, I look at it from like a fan standpoint, a casual standpoint, and then I also like mix it up and put it from like a player standpoint. I don't always try to talk about it in like one type of way. I always try to get it with like multiple perspectives. And you know, I acknowledge like everything's just going to be different, and I talk about those things. I talk about that it's okay to feel that way, because we're from like two different language barriers. You know, like competition, like competitive and casual, it's like a language barrier. You know, it's like you're speaking English, person speaking like Spanish. Like, you know, you're not going to fully understand each other. But when you point at something and y'all both see it, y'all like, yeah, that, right? And that's kind of like the thing that we could kind of like try to break. But my goal, and I'm very grateful to accomplish this, was always trying to like be the translator for both sides, and kind of like express that in game, and just having fun with it as well. So I would say those type of videos alone, you know, breakthroughs, and people really like it how I like always talk about like how I feel about certain characters too. They really like how I like bash on certain characters. Honestly, it's all fun and game and love. You know, like I'll call like grappler players like glue eaters, but you know, at the end of the day, like I have some pretty close friends that are grapplers, and you know, I live with them. You know, like we coexist, but it's just a fun thing. You know, it's like it's supposed to be fun and like having fun and learning about fighting games. So, you know, I would say those are like my breakthroughs as a whole.
I definitely would say that I feel like tier list is definitely a cheat code for fighting game content creators. That like if you really want to get views and you want to get it nice set of views, I think doing a tier list, even if it's on players, characters, I don't know, chocolate, candy, anime characters.
I'm just saying, man. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is overrated. That's all I know, bro.
Oh my gosh, man.
You know, I think it's cool to have those cheat codes, because I mean, like, look at it, for example, like you know how like those creators that you look, you know, they do a collab once a week. That's like a cheat code. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I feel like it's pretty good to have cheat codes. It's healthy. I mean, you gotta bend the rules sometimes. You can't just always play fair for anything, because then otherwise you get smoked, and that's just how life works. You know.
It's true. Sometimes you gotta do the cheat code, man. If it works, it works. And I feel like definitely tier lists. Like I ain't done a tier list in a while, but every time I've done like a Tekken 7 tier list, I get like, yeah, the numbers are just like they're a lot. And
yeah, like think about it. Name somebody, and this is no shade to anybody, but name somebody who was successful in this world that did not bend the rules. Okay then. Point taken. All right. Next question.
he's not lying, you know.
Justin cheated. He became a casual, and look what happened. Now all the casuals love him.
I mean, they just like to see me suffer. That's what it comes down to.
You know. LK anime avatar. Now everybody's like, all the anime avatars relate to LK.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I'm just saying, name somebody right now that's like, yo, I made it fair and square. That's cap. Everybody took somebody's idea. Everybody used a flowchart of an idea. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I support that. I support you eating the cake, bro. Eat that cake. Don't just sit there and let it go to waste.
Yeah, eat that pineapple with pizza.
Yeah, eat that pineapple. Yeah, I take a bite. I say I hate it, but if that was the only piece of box there, I'm biting that shit. I'm telling you right now. Bro.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying, bro.
These guys are crazy. Listen, thank you lot very much. Again, we reached the end. Thank you lot very, very much. Kizzie K, thank you very much for jumping back in again, man. It was definitely good to hear your last words and stuff like that. Lord Knight, thank you very, very much again. I know, obviously, was it Smash Players that jacked your cam?
My camera, yeah.
Yeah.
Smash player, no.
So,
Yeah, there have been times where like I wanted to stream, but we didn't have enough HDMI cables, and like we're sharing. Genesis is over, so now it's been easier. But last week I was like, bro, I can't do anything here. Like what?
bro, they, whatever you have. Oh, you got HDMI in your bag? Oh yeah, let me borrow that. Oh, you got a camera? Oh yeah, let me borrow that. Nah, it's cool. I appreciate you, man. At least you still made it through, and I appreciate it. Justin, again, appreciate it. We ain't done a collab before. First time. Hopefully, it's one of many. I'm even with all you guys. Like I said, like I know I've collabed with you, Lord Knight, before, Kizzie. But even with all you, like, no matter, even if it's like anything light, we don't even have to think too much about it. If you don't want to do any collaborations, I know Tekken 8 is coming out. It doesn't even have to be for Tekken 8. I like anime. I like Final Fantasy. Whatever. We can do whatever you want. I like the games that you lot play. So we could do whatever you want.
Well, like we said, man, we can make that Final Fantasy tier list, bro. I mean, that's a good idea right off the bat. It's okay to cheat, man. Bro. All I'm saying, bro, is like, bro, we could do a Final Fantasy tier list. Which one's the best? Which one's the worst, bro? We could do. We could cheat the system, bro.
Final Fantasy 9 is better than 7.
Wow.
Wow, I'm not gonna argue that because Final Fantasy Tactics is the best out of them all.
I'm definitely arguing that because Final Fantasy 9 is actually trash.
You cannot wait one second. Wait.
I can tell you why it's trash because I actually went so hard at beating the game. Literally, like you're telling me, like I want my bosses to have like, especially the last, I want them to have hundreds of thousands of health. The last boss only has 50,000 health. That means 5 attacks. I win the game, right? And how do you actually power up your special moves? You just keep using the same move. You don't need to add no stats. You don't need to find some secret. You just have to keep spamming the special move, and it naturally gets stronger. That shit is dumb.
But the reason why they done that is because people didn't like the junction system in Final Fantasy 8.
I'm okay, and then also, bro, that meter to going up, it's the slowest thing in the world until you get haste. And even if you get haste, that shit is still slow as hell.
But I'm talking about storyline wise. You're talking about gameplay.
Man, what an OS. That's an option.
No, I mean that's what I thought you were gonna. That's what I thought what you were talking about in the first place. Like as far as the
gameplay,
the game balance is whatever. Honestly,
I feel
the story.
First of all, how can you get through the game if the gameplay is actually trash to know the story?
But the thing is, the one-player games are all like so many old 1P RPGs are so like glitch. Like there's all these glitches you could abuse and stuff. Yeah, Final Fantasy 9 has mad glitches. But the story is good, so it's fine.
Love the story.
Like, Final Fantasy 8 system is even worse. Final Fantasy 9 story is okay. Come on.
But
I don't think it's better than 7. But
let me tell you straight up though. If the junction system was in Final Fantasy 9, you would tell me that the game will still be as good as it is because of the story?
Yo,
I think 8 has both bad. I think 8 has both bad gameplay and bad story. But it's funny, so it's okay.
8 is great. 8 had a
8
love
is
story.
funny. 8 is just funny. It's just a meme. It's a meme game.
It's not a meme game. That
Bro,
love story is great.
No.
It's like one of the best mini games of all time. Like they ruined the mini game in 9. You don't even play the card game in 9
The
anymore.
card game is broken though.
8.
The card game is broken. The card game is broken.
8 is ridiculous with the card game. The card game is so good.
Yeah.
But the junction system is sleep, and then the story is memes.
No, the junction system is trash. Like I'll give you that. But Final Fantasy 8 is the first Final Fantasy game that really enhanced Final Fantasy graphics.
Bro, what graphics? You can't even see Squall's face properly, bro.
To be fair. Think about at the time. Think about at the time. You got to think about the time.
Yeah,
at the time. Okay, hands up. At the time, it was all right. It was like
the Guardian Forces is ridiculous.
Bro, listen to what I'm saying. Omisia, when did you see her? Oh, right at the end of a 4-disc game. Come on, man.
But look,
come on, man.
All agree, Final Fantasy Tactics is number 1.
I
don't care about Final Fantasy. We already know that game is godlike. But if you're talking about the 4th disc, bro, first of all, Zidane, you get this random ass like he's a random tail Super Saiyan from a different planet in like the third disc.
Sick,
This is the same thing you're mentioning.
bro. It's sick. It looks sick, bro. Like Zidane looks like an actual character in Final Fantasy VIII. They all look a bit glitchy when they're running, and bro, it just looked. Obviously, for the time, it was good. I'll be honest, for the time. But when you look back at it, when you look back at those games, Final Fantasy IX on the PlayStation 1 looked the best.
For sure, I'll give you that. But in my personal opinion, you only have one good character in Final Fantasy IX that carried the franchise, and that's Vivi. Nobody cares about Zidane.
Steiner?
Nobody cares about the other characters that
Steiner?
Steiner's trash. Steiner
Oh
is
my
whack,
God, bro. What do you
My
mean?
man is right. Like, look, if you look at Final Fantasy VIII characters, bro. First of all, you have Renoa, you have Zell, you have Irvine. You got Meg. The only trash character in Final Fantasy VIII is probably Selphie. But like, even Squall was cool. You even get to choose. You even get to play Cypher for a little bit, which is mad chill as well too.
Irvine that can't shoot straight.
Even though
he's able. That guy.
Irvine's kind of sick though.
Everybody.
Oh, I can't shoot. He's aiming.
In Final Fantasy IX, I like Beatrice. I liked her.
Yeah, she's sick. 1 HP.
No, she's
Bam.
cool.
All day.
She's cool.
a great
Beatrice
character.
is cool.
Yeah,
But like that little who's the little frog cook or whatever?
Queen. Is it?
Yeah, that is
Queen-
cap. That is cap. That is cap. I think we agree.
Right?
That is cap.
Right, and then you have the second little girl magician. Like, what's the point of her? Like, you already have the main one. You already have Garnet. So why would you need to add that one?
Oh,
Right?
Eco.
And then you get obviously every character, every game Final Fantasy game gets the random like kind of like Vincent, and which is like the Freya.
Oh, Amaranth. No, I know you're talking about Freya.
She's cool. She's cool, but like, I think Final Fantasy VIII characters are better than Final Fantasy IX characters at least.
Yeah, I mean Cypher was cool until he came kind of whack at the end. He was cool.
And who was the two people that was following? Was it Fujin and Raijin? And
Fujin and Raijin.
And one of them just says one word: negative. Yes. This.
All right, but we're not gonna talk about how iconic Eyes on Me is. We're not gonna talk about how iconic Eyes on Me is.
It's not that iconic.
It's not that
Are you
iconic.
serious? That is
I'm being real.
It's not that iconic though.
I'm being real, dude. Dude, that's the game, bro. That's the game where the monsters come down on a giant purple carpet from the moon and everyone watches. That's your fucking game. That's your game, bro. No one ever mentions that shit. No one ever talks about that shit. That's amazing, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, here they come!" And they all walk down the fucking magic carpet from the moon.
I mean, look,
to the magic city.
Okay, what about and 8 has the better secret boss. Omega Weapon was way cooler than whatever the osmosis little ball shit in Final
I'm just
Fantasy.
gonna talk over my point like that's not important, dude. Omega Weapon is not important, bro. There's Omega in Final Fantasy 9 too.
Bro,
At the Chocobo Ranch or whatever it is.
No, the secret boss is trash. It only had 50,000 health.
Oh, there's less damage at FF9. Come on, man, it's fine. Everyone's weak. It's cool. Osmosis.
That's shit trash. Osmosis.
Oh
He was
my
a ball.
God, bro.
He was pretty much a ball.
Yeah, he was a bull, but it just looked like a powerful bull.
Like you like the I did like the chocobo like side quest to get like all the different levels of chocobos.
Oh, to
Like,
dig
that was
down in
cool.
the ground when you had to dig
Yeah,
down.
like you get different colored chocobos. I think that was pretty cool in 9. That's all you get from me. Like that's it.
Are you really saying that Final Fantasy 8 is better than 9?
It is not better than that. That's cap, bro. I can list
100%.
so many funny, stupid shit from that game. Like that game. There's one hype thing in
100%.
Final Fantasy 8, actually. There's one hype thing in Final Fantasy 8. One thing that I will never say is bad. And when
The intro,
I mean,
the intro's sick.
there's the intro. There's a part where like it's right after you find out your. This is stupid. This game's fucking stupid. Your school is a boat also, coincidentally. But then you go and ram it into another school's boat, and then you have like a battle royale. That shit was cool. So it immediately made up for the game being stupid because the game keeps being stupid. So stupid thing.
You know another thing that was like
You better show respect to Balam Garden, okay?
Yo, Balam Garden is dope. Yo, Balam
That's
Garden
the whole
is
ass-
dope. But listen, another best part is when Cypher fought Odin, bro. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was cool. That was cool.
No, bro, like it looks good at the time, But how is man just go like this with a summon? And then it's just dead.
Bro, you just gotta like.
You gotta think about it like that. Like if you're gonna say that, then you have to say 7 is trash because 7 is Legos. There's a bunch of Legos walking around, and people are like, "This shit." So if you say, because I will not say that 8 looks bad. I will not say 8 looks bad because I'm thinking about at the time it's released. It's such a big step up from 7. So if 8 looks bad, then 7 is fucking garbage. Clearly,
Yeah.
you have a bunch of Legos. You have a Lego Cloud walking around talking about how edgy he is with his fucking rectangle sword.
But I mean, people buying that merch though.
Also, summons in 8 was beautiful. Like Ifrit in 8
not
was the coolest. Shiva was really cool. Like, those were some really cool ass summons in that game.
Nah,
They had some cool features there.
Yeah.
Like
I would say the
Oda and Gilgamesh randomly just decided to come down. Like the sword just randomly comes down, and then they just take over the fight. That shit is cool.
That was cool.
It's just not bad. 9 is not better than 8, but we could do another video of that like at some later date because we're gonna debate about this for time. I definitely don't think 8 is. Oh, me.
It is cap.
Yes.
It is cap.
Oh,
It is cap.
I mean, I felt like 8 got a re-release though. You know what I mean?
9 is
It needs a re-release to fix all the fucking mistakes. So the game is a meme.
I'm just saying, 9 didn't get a re-release.
Hold on, wait a second. Didn't Final Fantasy 8 get 2 remasters? They had one.
It's a remaster, not a re-release.
So
remaster, yeah.
No, but they had
9 didn't get a remaster.
No, but they
I'm
had.
pretty sure 9 has one.
Yeah, 9 has one. It has one on PlayStation. But I've got it on the PS and the PS4. It's like a remaster. They turned the graphics in
That's
that.
an emulator. That's an emulator.
That's an emulator port.
That's not a remaster.
That's an emulator port.
Wow. Is this what you lot are doing? Wow.
That shit was a lazy port to get people to spend $19.99 on that shit.
Yeah, bro. We talking about master copies, all right?
Nostalgia, you know. Nostalgia works.
That man said it's an emulator.
I'm just saying, man.
Oh my gosh, guys! I'm not gonna take up any of your time. I appreciate every single one of you lot for coming on, man. Appreciate you lot. Hopefully we could do something again soon. Just hit me up, man, for sure, and we'll get something going on, man. But you lot, take it easy, man. I'll be gone.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, man.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, man. Oh man, that was an amazing collab. I didn't even think would ever happen. Ah man, that was actually crazy. Crazy. Yeah, today has been a very, very different day, but yeah, that was a sick collab. Getting Justin Wong on, getting, Lord Knight, and even like I feel like I wanna try and do something where you lot get to see just different people's perspectives on like the fighting game community and stuff like that. I think it's good. Like the outbreak moments is definitely a thing, man. Like just seeing different people's different out like just their views on things, man. But yeah, Final Fantasy 9, I feel like that's definitely an underrated Final Fantasy game.